Okay, so we have this idea of continental drift, and continental drift explains the evidence, right? We see evidence of rocks and mountains and fossils and glaciers across continents that all points to there used to being a single supercontinent, a Pangea, right? So this explains the evidence, but it doesn't explain the mechanism, right? How does it work? How do the continents drift apart? What's the mechanism that allows these continents to drift apart? And because scientists at this time couldn't provide a mechanism to explain it, continental drift was not accepted by the scientific community, right? We didn't have a mechanism, so we didn't understand it, so we didn't accept it. We didn't believe it at that time. And then comes along one of my personal heroes, Marie Tharp. So Marie Tharp, she was a geologist and an oceanographer, and her job was to map the ocean floor. So at this time, women did not have a large leadership role in science. So instead, she was kind of like a helper. She was a research assistant. And in 1953, she was working with other scientists who went out and collected the data. And she was the one who took that data and actually mapped it, right? Mapped the ocean floor. So other scientists would go out, measure the depth of the ocean floor, bring that data back to her. She would map the ocean floor. And in 1953, through the maps that she created, she identified this V-shaped structure that seemed to go along a mid-ocean ridge in the oceans. And the one that's easiest to see on this image is the one that runs along the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. So in this map that she created, you can see that dark blue ridge that runs all the way up the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, that mid-ocean ridge. And in that mid-ocean ridge, Marie Tharp found a V feature that she called a rift valley. And she proposed that this rift valley was actually a place in the earth, kind of like a seam in the earth, where new material, new magma was welling up to the surface of the earth, cooling to form rock and pushing away the old material, pushing apart that old material, right? So she found the mechanism for continental drift. This is what pushed the continents apart. It was the rift valleys that we now see preserved in the mid-ocean ridges. Right, now, Marie Tharp, I said that she was a geologist at a time when women were not leaderships. They're often not in leadership in the scientific world. And so when she first proposed this solution, she was dismissed by her colleagues, and they called what she described as, quote, girl talk. It took decades for her to be recognized for her hard work. Now she's won many, many, many awards, and she is acknowledged for being the person who found the mechanism for plate tectonics.